So tip number one was magnetic AI persona. Tip number two was our themes. Now we are going to dig into the real meat of this workshop, which is where do you go from there, right? You've got these four themes. Now what? Well, after years, my friends, years and years of working on content, I narrowed down the content categories to seven. These seven, one for each day of the week. It is designed that way to make this system easy for you to use. These seven are what I have found to be the most engaging. I am someone who spent 25 years in corporate America with a Fortune 500 company, a billion-dollar company. And one of the things that we did a lot was looking at data. And so I'm a huge, in addition to my nerd status, I am very much a data analytics nerd. And so when I look at my posting or the posting of my clients, we look at what got the most views, what got the most comments, what got the most reactions. And so when I look at all of that data and I filtered it down to what are those categories that work the best over and over again, these are the seven that do that. Now, you should not be surprised at all that value is the number one category, right? Because we talked about the fact that if you do nothing else, right, let's make sure we focus on the value that we are providing to our audience and our ideal client. So value is number one. Number two is story. This is really important. And we think about content, telling a story, getting really good at storytelling. There's no downside to that, right? The more that you work on that skill, the better you will be at creating and delivering content. Then there's, of course, engagement. We want people to answer questions or raise their hand as they are interacting with your content. We want to make offers. That's really important. If we don't sell something or tell someone we have something to sell, then they will not buy anything from us, right? It seems so simple. It really does. But it is one of those things that I often see people avoiding when they are working on their content. So offers are really important. Motivation is important. Community is important. And then, of course, social proof is also important. These are all things that from a content perspective, we want to have in our repertoire that we share with our audience or our ideal client every month. So let me stop here for just a moment. And I'm going to jump back to ChatGPT.
I love this. Does it change from each platform? Like if you're on Facebook, does that 7 content pillars work in the exact same format as you would for Instagram? Or do you find that Instagram you need to use more of one type or less of another type? Or do you find that you can just cross use on all platforms?
That is a really great question. So I would say overall, it works across. The one thing I will say is there's a little bit of difference in engagement posts, right? Things that you put on Facebook and say, hey, raise your hand if you want X, or hey, it's a little different on the Instagram side in the sense that you typically use more of the method like comment this particular word, right? As opposed to raise your hand and just say yes. But besides engagement, the rest of them work very consistently across all platforms.
Love that. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So
What are we doing here?
here is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So as you can see, we get to day 29 and 30 of content. We have used our 4 themes. And so now ChatGPT is saying, here are some ideas, right, for things within your 4 themes that you might want to talk about. Now, you can be like, no, I don't want to. I don't like these at all, right? And you can ask ChatGPT to run you 4 more, to run you 10 more, whatever that looks like. For this particular purpose, I'm going to stick with most of the recommendations that it's giving just for ease of following through how we're doing this process. So week 1, we're going to be talking about money, clarity, and calm. right? So I'm a financial coach in my example here, and I'm someone who wants to help people with their money. So it's saying day one, money doesn't feel scary because you're bad at it. It feels scary because no one taught you how to look at it safely. Okay, well, I can take these and I can turn them into all different kinds of posts, right? So we just talked about the 7 categories that we can use. I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, okay, we're going to start and we're going to focus on week 1 first. This is a pretty common strategy that I use with ChatGPT. It's really good at providing information and it's really good at doing one thing at a time, right? I find that as we get more complex, the more complex we make our prompts, the harder it is sometimes for AI to follow along with us. So when we're doing this 30 days in 30 minutes, we're going to 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week to get to our 30 days of content in 30 minutes. I'm going to copy this because I'm going to focus on week 1. And I'm going to tell this chat focusing on week 1. And in this example, I'm just going to use Facebook group. Definitely when you're using AI, we want to be specific about what kind of content we're creating. So in this particular example, I'm going to use Facebook group. If you were an Instagram user, you would be asking for in caption and you would be asking for like the caption that's going to go on the screen versus the caption that's going to go in the post. But very similar process, but make sure you tell which platform we're talking about because there are some nuances.
If you want to watch the entire episode, click here. And if you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.